They thought they could remove you by twisting the truth. They whispered behind your back. They smiled in your face while plotting in silence, but heaven saw it. And now the exposure has begun. Comment 4444 right now. That's your angelic confirmation that divine justice is in motion. Stay until the end, because before this video finishes, you'll know exactly why the manipulation failed and what heaven is about to do next. You weren't imagining the sudden coldness, the shift in tone, the fake kindness that felt heavy in your spirit. It wasn't confusion, it was revelation. Your angels let you feel what they were hiding. Someone wanted to slowly erase you from places where you belong. They used charm as a mask, flattery as a trap, silence as punishment, and stories as poison, but heaven says no more. Their plans are being reversed in real time. The same people they tried to turn against you are beginning to see the truth. They are questioning every lie that was whispered. They are realizing something doesn't add up. You were never the problem. You were the light they couldn't control. You were the peace that exposed their chaos. And that scared them. They tried to label you as too much, too spiritual, too emotional, too confident, too different. But that too much is exactly what makes you chosen. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if this line touched your spirit, because heaven is saying what they tried to remove will now be replaced with something greater. Every door they tried to shut will open in a higher place. Every name they tried to stain will shine brighter than before. You felt drained lately, not because you're weak, but because you've been under spiritual surveillance. Energy watchers, silent competitors, people pretending to support you while praying for your pause, but angels are clearing the room. God is performing a divine separation, and this separation will look painful at first, but it's actually protection in disguise. Don't chase who detaches. Don't explain what heaven already revealed. Don't lower your vibration to prove your purity. Heaven is about to make their manipulation visible to everyone. They'll try to play innocent, but truth will keep slipping through their own words. Their actions will betray their motives, and those who defended them will quietly start distancing themselves. You won't even need to expose them. Heaven will do it for you. Someone once told them, "You can't destroy what's divine." But they didn't believe it until now, because every lie spoken against you is collapsing. Every false story is crumbling, and every hidden text, every private conversation that was meant to harm, will somehow resurface in the light. Comment, "Truth will stand," if your soul feels this unfolding. Listen, you were chosen for endurance. You weren't sent here to fit in. You were sent here to awaken. That's why attacks come wrapped in manipulation, because direct attacks can't reach your level. They couldn't defeat you in the open, so they tried to drain you in the shadows. They couldn't confront your light, so they pretended to help while steering you off course. But your discernment caught the pattern. Your spirit kept whispering, "Something's off," and you were right. That sudden invitation that didn't feel pure, that unexpected conflict that felt staged, that apology that came too fast, too rehearsed, all of it was part of the manipulation heaven is now exposing. But here's the plot twist. They thought they were removing you, but they were actually relocating you. God used their rejection as divine redirection. They closed one door, not realizing heaven had already opened 5. That's why you're being silent right now. Because your spirit knows the truth doesn't need to shout. You're stepping into peace, and peace is the loudest revenge. Type, "My peace speaks louder," if that's your confirmation. Soon, the same people who doubted you will say, something about them feels protected, because heaven will make your presence undeniable again. This exposure won't come through drama, it will come through results. Your next breakthrough will speak for you. Your next opportunity will silence the gossip. Your next elevation will make every manipulator disappear quietly. God is saying, let me vindicate you. You don't need to fight for attention. You don't need to argue your innocence. Just stay consistent, stay kind, and stay covered, because soon their own manipulation will contradict itself. They will forget their own lies. They will repeat stories that don't align. And people will notice angels are already whispering to hearts around them, saying, something isn't right. Look again. And those hearts are starting to see you differently. They are realizing your silence wasn't guilt. It was wisdom. Your distance wasn't arrogance. It was divine direction. Your humility wasn't weakness. It was strength. Heaven says you passed the test. You didn't retaliate. You didn't respond with venom. You responded with peace, and that sealed your victory. Comment I passed if you feel this in your heart. Now heaven is orchestrating something new, a new circle of alignment, a new platform, a new voice that carries your truth. And this time, no one will have access to distort it, because you've learned access is sacred. And not everyone deserves proximity to divine favor. You've been chosen for visibility, but visibility now comes with discernment. The people who tried to manipulate you were your training ground for wisdom. Don't regret what they did. Thank heaven for what it revealed, because if they hadn't tried to remove you, you would have stayed where your light was being dimmed. Now you see clearly who's for you and who's for your downfall. You see how energy shifts when your name carries blessing. You see how quickly people expose themselves when you stop explaining yourself. This is exposure season, but it's also elevation season. Heaven is saying you will rise in plain sight. No revenge, no bitterness, just results. Your next move will be quiet but powerful. Your next appearance will be unexpected but undeniable. They'll realize they didn't remove you, they revealed you. Type, I am revealed, not removed. And remember this, manipulation is the weapon of those who lack authority. They can't lead, so they control. They can't inspire, so they deceive. They can't bless, so they block. But no one can block what heaven built. The truth is now aligning people, places, and timing in your favor. That's why you've been feeling lighter lately, as if something invisible finally lifted off your shoulders. That's the energy of exposure and deliverance. Your angels are restoring your reputation, realigning your connections, and rewarding your restraint. The very hands that tried to erase your name will soon witness your promotion. The very room that excluded you will hear your name being honored. The very person that manipulated others will face their own reflection and realize what they lost. Heaven doesn't just expose, it restores. And your restoration will be undeniable. You'll notice divine timing suddenly accelerate. Messages returning, opportunities reopening, peace returning to your sleep. Because manipulation thrives in confusion, and now clarity has entered the atmosphere. That's why your dreams have been vivid lately, because your spirit is being shown what's next. A chapter of authority, a season of confirmation, a wave of justice. Type, justice is here if this resonates. Heaven says, you didn't lose anything. I preserved you. I hid you while I healed you. I delayed you so no one could take credit for your destiny. That's why it felt like isolation. It wasn't punishment. It was protection. You were being repositioned where manipulation can't reach. Soon, you'll notice the people who once tried to twist your words will be too busy dealing with their own exposure. They'll have to face the energy they projected, because what you sow in secret returns in public. You sowed peace, now peace multiplies. You sowed truth, now truth surrounds you. You sowed faith, now miracles follow you. Heaven says, "The evidence of my hand on you will silence every tongue that rose against you. So hold your peace." Don't prove, don't post, don't plead. Just rise, because your story is shifting from manipulation to manifestation, from being misunderstood to being magnified, from being targeted to being trusted by heaven. You were never removed. You were reserved. Reserved for something pure. Reserved for connections that match your frequency. Reserved for blessings that don't come with hidden motives. Your angels are surrounding you even now, clearing every false alignment, restoring your energy field, sealing you with divine favor. Say this out loud if your spirit agrees. I am protected by divine truth. I am untouchable by manipulation. I am walking in heavenly justice. And so it is. If this message reached your soul, comment your angel number 42444, because heaven is confirming the exposure has begun, and nothing can stop what's already written. Heaven is still speaking, and the river of revelation has not stopped. You see, when the enemy couldn't break you with direct attack, they shifted to subtle manipulation. They studied your patterns. They mirrored your kindness. They spoke your language of peace, but only to twist it later. Yet what they didn't know is that heaven records intentions before actions, and every hidden motive that moved in the shadows is now being summoned to the light. The Spirit says they tried to study your weaknesses, but ended up revealing their own. They underestimated how much divine protection surrounds you. They saw your silence as surrender, but heaven saw it as strength. They misread your gentleness for naivety, not knowing you were walking under divine restraint. Every attempt to remove you was actually part of heaven's choreography to redirect you. The rejection you faced was a sacred relocation, a spiritual evacuation from corrupted ground. There's a reason why your name keeps coming up lately, even in rooms you never entered. There's a reason some people seem restless when you walk in. The truth is whispering into their spirits, you touched what was anointed. Heaven says, you are my evidence. Every attack against you becomes proof of divine favor. That's why things are being exposed now, not to shame them, but to free you. Heaven doesn't expose to humiliate. Heaven exposes to liberate. Right now, angels are rearranging your atmosphere. The people who tried to manipulate perceptions of you are losing their influence. Their words no longer carry weight in the spirit realm. The same ones who thought they could narrate your story are about to watch you write your own chapter, one that begins with restoration and ends in elevation. The very table they tried to exclude you from will now need your presence to function. Someone needs to hear this clearly. Their manipulation didn't stop your destiny, it confirmed it. The resistance was not punishment, it was prophecy. Every pushback was a sign that your light irritated hidden darkness. That's why you couldn't understand why people who once loved your energy suddenly withdrew. It wasn't that you changed, it was that your frequency outgrew their facade. Heaven says you're not losing people, you're shedding illusions. And as you listen to this message, your angels are saying, stay still. Don't chase the closure that heaven is already handling. The same people who twisted your story will soon say, I misjudged them. But it won't come through apology. It will come through the way your life unfolds. They'll see your name rise again and realize they were fighting divine order. They'll see your peace glow in seasons they expected you to collapse. Type in the comments, heaven fights for me, if your heart knows this word is for you. Because what's coming next is the moment of reversal. Everything that was done in whispers will now echo in truth. Heaven is rearranging conversations. Where your name was once dragged, now it will be defended. Where you were once ignored, now you will be sought. Your discernment will be vindicated. That quiet unease you felt about certain people wasn't paranoia, it was protection. They tried to twist your reputation, but couldn't touch your calling. They wanted others to question your light, but your fruit spoke louder. And soon, their manipulation will backfire so dramatically that even they will wonder how the script flipped so fast. Heaven says, because I was rewriting the script the entire time. You see, beloved, when heaven steps in, exposure is not chaos. It's alignment. It's like the wind clearing smoke after a long fire. You will finally see what's been hidden. You'll recognize how long you've been surrounded by envy disguised as mentorship, control disguised as care, and guilt disguised as guidance. But once you see it, you won't unsee it. That's your deliverance. Right now, angels are whispering to hearts connected to your destiny. They're revealing truth without your involvement. Someone who once believed the lies is having dreams about you, dreams that contradict what they heard. Someone who doubted your integrity is suddenly feeling convicted. Someone who stood silent while others conspired is now being moved to speak up. Heaven is orchestrating the exposure in layers, quietly, perfectly, undeniably. This is why you must not respond in haste. The Spirit is saying, let me finish this. If you act before heaven completes the exposure, you'll end up explaining what I'm already revealing. Be still, because vindication that comes from God is permanent. Vindication that comes from argument is temporary. Now, hear this prophetic detail. Within the next few weeks, a name, a message, or a situation connected to this manipulation will come back around. But this time, truth will be attached to it. You will see clearly who played both sides. You will see who secretly supported you even when they pretended neutrality. And you will know why God delayed your confrontation. It was never meant to be you who proved anything. Heaven wanted to reveal it organically, so no one could call it revenge. Type, I trust heaven's timing if you're releasing the urge to explain yourself. Listen, their manipulation tried to make you doubt your discernment. But heaven says your sensitivity was not your flaw. It was your radar. The reason you felt drained after certain conversations is because your spirit was decoding hidden energy. You were picking up what they were trying to conceal. You just didn't have the full picture yet. But now it's coming into view. Heaven is about to send you clarity that hits like lightning. You'll wake up one day and suddenly understand everything. The delays, the detours, the betrayals. It will all make sense. And the peace that follows will confirm it's not revenge, it's revelation. Beloved, you've walked through manipulation that was meant to distort your reflection. But heaven is handing you the mirror again. This time it reflects strength, wisdom, and divine confidence. You will no longer be triggered by fake affection or controlled by guilt. You will stand tall in truth, smiling not because everything makes sense, but because you finally trust that it doesn't have to. Someone who tried to manipulate you into silence will soon need your voice. Someone who used your kindness as leverage will soon need your forgiveness. And heaven says you will grant it, not because they deserve it, but because you're free. The light within you is too pure to carry bitterness. You'll forgive and move forward, not back to them, but beyond them. Because manipulation loses power the moment you stop needing validation from the manipulator. So keep walking, chosen one. Keep glowing even when it confuses them. Keep smiling even when they whisper. Your energy itself is their exposure. When truth lives inside you, deceit cannot stay around you. Heaven's verdict is sealed. You will rise untouched. Every plot becomes prophecy. Every scheme becomes setup. Every manipulation becomes manifestation. Comment, truth wins below to seal it with your agreement. Heaven says, this next wave is personal. The ones who tried to control your story will now witness your divine unfolding. They tried to dim your light quietly, but heaven will restore you loudly. Their whisper campaign ends when your breakthrough begins. That's why your spirit has been feeling pressure lately, because exposure always comes before elevation. You're not being broken, you're being revealed. You're not losing people, you're losing limitations. You're not being silenced. You're being separated for clarity. What's ahead will make everything that was hidden make sense. Type, I am ready for divine clarity. Say it as you mean it, because clarity is your new shield. Once you see manipulation for what it is, it loses its power. Someone has been watching your calmness and mistaking it for weakness. They don't realize calm is a sign that angels have taken over the fight. They can't read your silence because it's not empty. It's full of divine strategy. Every time you chose peace over panic, heaven took note. Every time you refused to retaliate, your name rose higher in the spiritual ranks. This is your spiritual promotion season. Heaven is preparing to elevate you in the very environment where they tried to erase you. You'll walk back into spaces that once rejected you, and the atmosphere will shift. People will sense that something about you feels untouchable now, because truth has crowned you. Light has marked you. Heaven has spoken for you. Comment, I am crowned by truth, because that's exactly what's happening. Heaven is decorating your name with divine credibility. Soon, their manipulation will start working against them. They'll over-explain. They'll contradict their own lies. They'll feel watched because spiritually, they are. Angels are turning every hidden conversation into confession. Not through chaos, but through divine orchestration. Someone will slip, and what was buried will come out naturally. When it happens, don't rejoice in their downfall. Rejoice in your freedom. Because this exposure was never revenge, it's reclamation. Heaven is reclaiming your name, your peace, your purpose, your influence. The same mouth that gossiped about you will soon speak your blessings without knowing why. The same door that shut you out will suddenly need your voice. That's why God didn't let you defend yourself earlier. It would have been too soon. Now the truth can't be denied. Evidence is aligning. Energy is revealing. Your presence alone will make people rethink what they believed. Type, truth always returns, because every seed of authenticity finds its way back to light. Someone underestimated how divinely connected you are. They thought manipulation could outsmart intuition, but your angels were decoding their motives before they even spoke. That's why you kept feeling sudden fatigue around certain people. Your spirit was alerting you before your mind could catch up. Heaven says, don't ignore that feeling again. That discomfort was revelation in disguise. Now you know, not everyone deserves your listening ear or your healing heart. Your empathy is sacred currency. Don't invest it in chaos. From this day forward, you'll move differently. You'll speak less, but everything you say will carry weight. You'll forgive, but you won't forget the lesson. You'll love, but from a healed distance. This is your maturity season. This is where your peace becomes your protection. Heaven says you will not need to fight back. Your elevation will do the talking. You'll notice people trying to re-enter your life once exposure hits. They'll come with half apologies, hoping you forgot the full damage. Smile kindly, but remember, forgiveness doesn't mean access. The new you doesn't negotiate with manipulation. It observes, discerns, and moves on. Type, I choose discernment. That declaration breaks the loop that once kept you trapped in emotional confusion. Now watch how heaven flips the script. Opportunities you thought were lost will return with better timing. People who dismissed you will now recommend you. Doors that closed will open wider, because your name carries divine credibility. You'll no longer need to prove your worth. Your peace will announce it. You'll no longer need to chase support. your light will attract it. You'll no longer need to correct lies. Your fruit will correct them for you. Heaven says, "This is the moment I make their manipulation your miracle." Every attempt to remove you was secretly moving you into position. Every betrayal became your bridge. Every false friend became your filter. And now nothing fake can follow you where you're going. Comment, "I am moving in divine truth," because that's the declaration that seals your new vibration. You've outgrown manipulation, and heaven is applauding your evolution. The story isn't ending with exposure. It's beginning with elevation. And the next part of your journey will prove it publicly. Heaven says now that exposure has begun. Elevation is next. What they meant for your embarrassment will become your announcement. The tables are turning in quiet but undeniable ways. You'll notice people suddenly treating you differently, not because you changed, but because truth changed the atmosphere. They're starting to see what they refused to before. They're realizing the narrative they believed was false, and you won't even have to say a word. Your calm is speaking louder than confrontation. Your silence is preaching louder than speeches. Your peace is performing what revenge never could. The manipulator's strongest weapon was confusion, but now heaven is restoring your clarity. Comment, "Clarity is my victory," because that's exactly what this season is about. Seeing clearly and standing confidently. You are entering a time where peace becomes your power source. When you stop chasing explanations, heaven starts sending manifestations. Your destiny no longer needs validation. It needs space, and heaven is clearing it. Someone is watching your comeback and wondering how you recovered so gracefully. They expected collapse, but got consistency. They expected bitterness, but got blessings. They expected silence, but got strategy. That's what divine exposure does. It flips the entire narrative without effort. Heaven says, you will rise without announcing it. Your glow will speak. Your results will confirm it. Your peace will confuse them more than your pain ever did. Type, "My peace confuses my enemies." That phrase is your shield. It turns every dart of manipulation into dust. Don't be surprised when someone who once betrayed you tries to compliment you soon. They'll do it subtly, trying to test if your energy is still open. Be kind, but don't reconnect. Be graceful, but not gullible. You are no longer in the same spiritual dimension as before. They wanted access to your emotions. Heaven gave you authority instead. They wanted to use you. Heaven chose to elevate you. They wanted to make you question your worth. Heaven is making you a living confirmation of divine value. You will soon walk into a season of undeniable favor. The very place where they whispered about you will now echo with your name in honor. The same table that excluded you will expand to make room for your anointing. And those who once manipulated you will quietly watch as heaven rewrites the story. Type, "Heaven is rewriting my story," because that's exactly what's happening right now. Your narrative is shifting from victim to victor. You'll find that doors start opening faster now. Not because of luck, but because manipulation was blocking your alignment. Now that truth is restored, flow returns. Your creativity will feel lighter. Your sleep will feel deeper. Your thoughts will carry peace instead of worry. Because what used to drain you can no longer reach you. Heaven says, you are out of range of manipulation. That's why they can't read you anymore. They used to predict your emotions, but now your spirit is unpredictable to darkness. You're operating under divine encryption. Only heaven can decode your next move. You'll begin to notice small signs of reversal. Someone who gossiped about you will suddenly need your advice. A door that closed on you will reopen under a new name. An opportunity that slipped away will reappear, but now you'll be the one setting the terms, because heaven is not just exposing, It's exalting. Every loss was rehearsing your leadership. Every betrayal was building your boundary. Every manipulation was training your discernment. Type, "My discernment is divine." That declaration seals your protection over future seasons. Heaven says, from this moment forward, nothing fake will prosper around you. You will sense lies before they're spoken. You will feel dishonor before it's revealed. You will walk into rooms and know instantly who carries truth and who carries envy. This is your reward for surviving manipulation, divine intuition. Don't be afraid when old faces reappear pretending to reconcile. Test their energy, not their words. If peace doesn't flow, permission isn't given. You owe no one access who once fed off your silence. This is your elevation era, not your explanation era. You're done explaining your light to people who choose to live in the dark. You are walking into rooms your enemies prayed to block. You are receiving blessings that were withheld until your circle was cleansed. Comment, "My circle is divine now." That phrase releases heaven's approval over your new alignments. Soon, your name will be mentioned in divine rooms, not by those who liked you, but by those who once doubted you. They'll wonder how your energy still rises after everything. It's because manipulation can't destroy what's protected by purpose. And your purpose has now become unstoppable. Heaven says, keep moving in silence. Let me handle the sound. Because soon the applause will come from the same direction the gossip came from. Not because you sought validation, but because truth became undeniable. So stand tall, chosen one. Walk with your head high. Smile knowing heaven already settled the score. The exposure is done. Now comes your divine reward. Type, "I receive my divine reward" in the comments to seal your elevation in faith. Heaven is done hiding you. Now it's time for the world to see what manipulation tried to bury.